Hello everybody, this is Lila in Hawaii. I did say I would show you how to make some ribbon flowers out of seam binding. Don't know why I did that. Set myself a task. It's not easy to show these because they're small. But anyway, I'm doing a cottage, one of several I'm doing, and I'm working on the garden. And of course these are not all going to go in the garden. But anyway, just thought they look nice. These are some of the ribbon flowers I was going to demo to you. Not all of them, but I'll demo some of them. So let me scoot those off. Maybe I should have just done this. There we go. So that's how it looks now without the ribbons. And eventually I'll put more ribbons, you know, different ribbons and little centers. And I liked that color. I particularly liked these colors for it. And not too much color. It's got quite a bit of color, but I want to keep it sort of those colors. And this is a little bit brighter than I would normally do, but I wanted to do a brighter one because I usually do a lot of pastels. So anyway, let me try and show you some things. The first one I'm going to show you, I know you know how to do these. It's just like a refresher, I'm sure. The first one is easy, and I've used black thread because I thought it would be easier for you to see it. And all you do is you take a piece, and most of these pieces of seam binding are 6 inches, some are 8 inches, some are 5 inches, but in that range anyway. So I don't do tiny little stitches. You can't gather it as easily with tiny little stitches. That's sort of the size I do. This one I've already sewn the running stitch, and I've left where I started about 4 or 5 inches and where I've ended. This one's very, very easy. So all you do with this one is you simply tie a knot and pull it. And then look at it and make sure you haven't crossed it over or done something funky with it. Okay, so do that. And then just tie the knot again and it fastens it off. I don't know, let's see, I'm getting that. I've got that crossed over. Okay, so that's the first one. Very easy. All you do is pull up the threads either end, and then you sort of open it out and you play with it and get it into shape a bit better. And what I do with all of these, so that's that one. This seam binding is a little stiffer. Some of them are not so stiff, and I find that the stiffer ones are harder. So what I do is I get this, any room spray, lavender mist, anything like that. This is Park Place Perennials Mist, and I give them a little squirt, and then I kind of shape them a bit. You know, I give them a little more interest to the petals. So that would be the first one. Then I set it aside to dry. Okay. Then if you want to make one with 4 petals, I mean you could do 5 petals. I started one here, and I'm going to show you the last petal. But the way you do it is you take a bigger piece of seam binding, fold it in half. This is about 8 inches. Fold in half, fold it again, but leave just a little bit on the ends there, like that. And make a crease, and those, when you open that out, you'll see that the creases are there for the petals. Now I've gone ahead and sewn 3 of these petals. Now, because I want to show you that the important part of this is, okay, so I've sewn down here, I'm going to go across here. I'm trying to do this at a very awkward angle. Sorry. And the important part of this is crossing over the ribbon with the thread. Don't go under it again. Like that. So I've crossed over the ribbon, and then I'm finishing it up on the same side. And I push the needle away from me. I find that's the easiest. I'm not good at pulling it towards me, because you can sort of push it against your finger that way. Oh, darn. This is stiff seam binding. It's old and it is round, but oh my goodness, some of them are softer. If you can get the softer ones, I really recommend those. Okay, so now I've done the last one of these. Okay, so there's 4 done. Now I'm just going to simply go round to the beginning. I need to come up here, and I go in there where I started. I'm making a circle, and then I'm just going to pull it up. Okay, so I'm pulling it up nicely, making sure it's not twisted. Sometimes it gets, a little twisted. Pull it tight as I can. And then to fasten it off, I turn it upside down as best I can. And I sew it across the gap in the back. As I said, this is very, very stiff seam binding. I don't know what, it's like taffeta seam binding, but it is round. It's from the 30s. Okay. I'm not going to take time to fasten it off. Anyway, here you go. So those are 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, maybe I should fasten it off so I can take the needle out. Okay, so I fasten it off on the back. And you know what I'm going to do, don't you now? I'm going to clip that. And I'm going to give it a little spritz with my spray. It also perfumes them, but you can also sort of separate the petals more and fiddle around and, make them pretty, give them a little shape. So that's that. Now, of course, these need a center, and usually for the center I'll take embroidery floss. I'm not going to do that. Or a seed bead, something like that. And it depends, really. Now, to make a leaf, I was going to show you how to make a leaf. Different kinds of leaves I have here. I've got some green seam binding, and for the first leaf I only need about 4 inches. The first one's very simple. You just fold it over like so, and then just push this through the center and go around the back, around the front, push it through the center again. So you're making a loop. So there you go. So that's a leaf, and that would look nice, on there. So I'm going to fasten that off. So that's the simplest leaf. I don't know if you can hear the birds, but they're out. Okay, so that's one leaf. Now another kind of leaf is the one I use for pansies is, let me see, this kind of a leaf. This looks best for pansy. I'm not going to show you how to make a pansy though, because you really need a wider ribbon of some sort. But to make the pansy leaf, again, got 4 inches. You go down. You're just going to make a gather from one side across and up here. Just a big I know it's kind of hard to show this because my hands are in the way, I'm sure, and I'm trying to watch the camera a little bit because I know I get out of whack sometimes. Okay, so that's how you do a pansy leaf. So what I've done, just to show you, is I've gone up and down the sides, like this side too, Now I'm just going to join those together and then pull them up, of course. Okay, and then it's like a half, kind of like a petal, I suppose you might say. There, don't fasten that off on the back. You have to have patience with these, they're fiddly. They are fiddly. And when you're trying to do it so people can see, it's even more fiddly. Anyway. So that's another kind. That's the one I use for a pansy. Sort of looks more like a heart, you might say. And so if you had a pansy, which I made, but I'm not going to show you how to make those, you can put that there.